For the past 30 days, I've been experimenting with this, a desktop microphone stand. Now, I've been podcasting for over a decade, and I've always used an articulating boom mic or a boom arm. Never thought I'd see the day where I would actually use one of these things, but this is the brand new DS2 from Rode, and I gotta say, I'm actually kind of impressed with it. Now, I'm going to talk about three things in this video. Number one, the things that I do love about this and how they've sort of solved some of the problems that you might have found with some of these other stands that exist. Number two, I'm going to talk about something that kind of bugs me about it as well, something that I wish was solved for, but I've managed okay, I guess. And number three, the biggest problem I've had with this and the one thing that may push me over the edge as far as like maybe long-term not using this. But 30 days with it, it's not bad. Let me tell you why. Probably my favorite feature of using a mic stand like this is that I can get the mic out of my face, right? So when I use a boom arm, oftentimes it feels like there's this just giant thing blocking my vision, especially if you're using a front fire microphone that requires you to be pretty close to it. It just felt like it was in the way, especially if I was on a call. And then there are other stands like this one here. These are kind of more your generic ones where the microphone stand is placed in the middle of the sort of base or weight. And then, of course, if you have this like this and you kind of have the mic up, I mean, you still have it in front of you. And even if you put it off to the side, it's still kind of in and around your face. As you can see here with the Shure SM7B, I mean, it doesn't matter what mic you have. You can use a Rode NT USB or a pod mic as well, or whatever mic you have. You can get it sort of coming from the side and under. And that's the beauty of the way these arms are formed. On that, it's got two pivot points. Right? They've solved the problem by removing the stand from the center of the base to moving it all the way over to the edge, which allows the arm to sort of come out a bit. So the arm is even a little bit out of the way and also has two pivot points. So right here in the center, I do find that, you know, if you tighten them kind of a lot, it's like a water bottle. It's like, okay, now I got to get it undone, which can take a little bit of force. But of course, if you just kind of keep it in one spot like that, you're good. And you can kind of pivot it to the right position, even though it is a stand that is on your desktop. I find that really nice. In fact, it is a desktop studio arm is what it's called, not just a mic stand. So I really like that feature, and it kind of allows me to put it off to the side, but still have the mic where it needs to be. As far as the quality, I mean, this thing is heavy. It's, I think, over 3 pounds. The base is nice and solid. It's got a rubber base, so it's not going to slide around on you, which is pretty cool. And it is made of really solid metal. I mean, like legit metal, similar to like a switch pod, if you will. A little plug there for my own product. But this thing is going to last, right? So this is kind of like the one-time thing that you buy that's going to be your microphone stand if you choose to go down this route that you know is not going to fail on you or just kind of be cheap. And this would be easy to travel with because you can take it apart. I like it for those reasons. Oh, and one other thing I love about this is if I don't want to use it, that's it. It's out of the way. All right, let me bring it back. With a boom arm situation, you know, you have the clamp, and although you can push the microphone out of the way, sometimes it's not all the way out of the way, or you need to clear your desk and you need to kind of undo the clamp, and then you got this sticky residue if you got a low quality one. And yeah, Rode has one that's great. It's the PSA 1 Plus, but even then, if you want to move things around or you're rearranging things, I mean, it's a lot more time and effort for sure. I don't have it hooked up anymore. This is not the PSA one. This is like a generic one, but I had it right here. And if I wanted to move it out of the way, I'd have to go here, but then I hit a wall on this side, right? So for all situations, it's not perfect, but it did the job for years, so it was fine. But, I mean, it's great. So I like that a lot, especially if I'm going to be taking this thing with me or maybe going to the other side of the office to conduct an interview with a guest or something. Yeah, that's cool. Now, let's talk about the one thing that kind of bothers me about this, and maybe it's bothersome to me because I have made physical products before out of metal, and for me, for its use case, the fact that it should be friendly for all kinds of microphones, I mean, not just USBs, but also XLR microphones, the fact that the holes that are here for cable management are not big enough to put an XLR cable through. I mean, the cable itself is thin enough to go in, but the actual connector, it's too big, so it's not going to get through. It's just, I mean, you got to jerry-rig this in a way, and you could see me here. I have some Velcro to kind of tie down on the edges or on the side here. I mean, it's just kind of annoying, right? It's not a deal breaker for sure, but it's just like, I mean, cable management, especially for busy studios like this one, is really important, and kind of wish there was a way to better cable manage here. Tie downs kind of seems like an afterthought. Okay, now what I dislike most about this. Where I've struggled the most and where I've had the most issues is with this connector right here. And this is the spot where you connect the microphone. Now there's an adapter, so it can fit different sizes, but that's not the problem here. The problem here is that it is not a ball head. And the reason why that matters, and I know this is the case for other mic arms too, so I'm not blaming Rode for this, but I've had to screw this in so tightly to get it to this position, because if I didn't, it would be pointed that way, right? And so what ends up happening is, if it was a ball head, I can easily, again, the things are, if I tighten them a lot, they're kind of hard to let go, but that's not the problem. The problem is I can't move this way. It only moves in one direction. I can't, like, if I want to see how I've had to move it that way, now the screw's loose. So that is the biggest problem, in my opinion. And the nice thing about what I saw with the boom arm was I could actually pivot things in a way where if I needed to rotate the microphone. Now, of course, I can simply just rotate the stand, but then I risk, running against some of my equipment and other things like that. I like the stand just to be where it needs to be unless I'm moving the whole thing out of the way, right? So that is a little bit troublesome for me. I've had the most problems with that with all kinds of different microphones I've tried on this. I've landed on something that finally screws in properly, and then I can, of course, adjust this microphone this way as well, but that's still on the same plane. I want to adjust in and out this way, right? Or let's say, for example, I wanted to go high and come down. Well, now I just got to spin. As you can see, maybe it's just that simple. Maybe I'm just a spoiled brat who likes ball heads because I have a product that has a ball head on it. But, that could work too. Yeah, sure. Okay. But that's just me. That is what is most troublesome for me. Now, the price could be troublesome for a lot of people. $90 is what this costs currently. And for a mic stand that is on the desk, that may feel like a lot. But the quality is great. They've solved the problem of the arm. It's actually, it's not super top heavy. You might think so. Now, it can get to a point if it's down below again, where if the mic is too far out, let's see, like that. Oopsies. See, this begins to tilt in this way, but oh my gosh, these knobs. Okay, we're good. $90 for the quality of this thing is great. I also watched in another YouTube video, they pointed out that the Rode branding mark on this is really nice because generally speaking, all of the Rode boom arms and the other products have Rode basically just in a high contrast color to the product itself. This is really nicely done. It's really neat. It's clean. It's durable. It's solid. The knobs obviously work really well. And for $90, I mean, if you need a mic stand for your desk and you want something of good quality that's going to last you for a very long time, and if this is the way you want to do it, then this would definitely be this is the only mic stand I would ever use. I'll say that. Now, am I going to switch back to a boom arm? I think I'm going to play around with this a little bit longer. Again, I like that it's out of my face. So the only other option to that would be using something like a shotgun mic off of camera, but that's far away, and those are pretty expensive too. So anyway, yeah, that's my review on the Rode DS2. Thank you to Rode for sending this to me to experiment with and share my honest thoughts on. And yeah, I'm gonna keep using it for a while.